Don't run away, Kevin. Get back in here. You can't listen, when you hear the second down music start, you can't just get on your toes and run away. Yeah.
When it's time to leave.
No, it ain't 3:00 yet. This is still my big boy chair right here, Kevin. You're going to sit down. If you're going to sit here and wait until the show starts, you're going to sit here and talk some Atlanta Braves baseball with us, because as of tomorrow, Kevin.
I don't like this chair over here, by the way.
Yeah. Complain about the chairs that somebody else brought into the studio. That sounds about like Kevin. But as of tomorrow, P's and C's, Kevin, pitchers and catchers.
Thursday. Well, and some Braves are Thursday. It really starts Thursday.
Yeah, but in baseball,
yes.
P's and C's reporting Braves are back on Thursday. I mean, this is like Christmas Eve for you, right?
It is. Only you don't get any presents really until they start playing games. So you have to, it's like Christmas Eve, but then you don't get any payoff for like another 2 weeks after that. So,
but I mean, you're going to be following like what is it, February 28th now when they're playing their first spring game. I mean, are you like watching every pitch or listening to every pitch?
That I'm allowed to. Yeah. Why not?
Why would you not be allowed to?
Well, they don't broadcast every game. They don't put every game on TV. So, in spring training. So the ones I'm allowed to, I will.
Wouldn't that be able to, not allowed to? Are you restricted from Braves spring training, Kevin? What'd you do?
There's a lot of things that we are not allowed to do. Might be restricted and not allowed to do it at the same time. I don't know. No, I'm excited about it. I think the way the season ended last year should give a lot of Braves fans a lot of hope and excitement about what's to come, man. I was like, it was a 60-game season. They kind of limped to the finish and still almost made it to the World Series. And I think, there's some guys that are gone from last year's squad, but I still think this is a really good team that, I think it's a good time not to get scared about what the Nationals and Mets and everybody else are doing. The Braves are still a great team. I think despite what the metrics, the computer nerds are saying, I still think they're the team to beat.
Well, it's the last 3 years, right? I mean, you have Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg on your roster, or Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard on your roster. Everybody's going to say you're the preseason favorite. But, I mean, there's that little old team in Atlanta that's got a pretty dang good offense and a bunch of really young, talented started pitching.
Absolutely. And then, I think bullpen-wise, they're still pretty good. Charlie Morton, to me, still got something left in the tank. I think that's a solid – certainly, if he makes more than 4 innings pitched this year, he'll do better than he got last year out of last year's big free agent pitching signing. So, I think the Braves will be just fine.
And Alex Anthopoulos saying like Mike Soroka, hoping he's ready for
let's pump the brakes on
day.
Let's pump the brakes on that.
Do the Braves really need that?
No, it's a long. If you play the full 162, and I fully believe at this point you're going to. I don't see why you wouldn't. Might early in the season you have some postponements, or like we've seen in every sport, sure. But I think the farther this thing goes into the season, you're going to get it all in. It would seem to me with the way vaccinations roll out, you have government officials saying by April, anybody who wants one should get one. It seems like you should start being able to feel more confident that every game you schedule is going to get played.
For those of
my estimation.
For those of you who don't know, and you should know if you're listening to this right now, this is the dulcet tones of one Kevin Thomas, host.
I'm trying to get out of here.
3 and out. Well, I mean, you got like 5 more minutes before you got to get to your show meeting there. But we were talking before all this, and you said the last free agent move you really want to see is making sure Shane Green comes back.
Yeah, I think that would be a great one to short the bullpen. I really would have liked to get Mark Melancon back. That's obviously not going to happen. But yeah, I think Shane Green back in that bullpen gives you another guy who was in the battles with you last year, went through the ups and downs of the season, was there in the postseason. I wouldn't mind having him back. And again, part of what made the Braves so good, they didn't use him in this role, but you had 4 guys who had closed in that bullpen, and you lose Melancon. Shane Green's one of them. Will Smith, I think, has been a closer. AJ Minter has been a closer. Part of what makes that so great, and I think just a huge reason as to why the Braves were able to weather the storm when their starting pitching was just complete garbage most days, was the fact that if you could get to the 7th inning with a lead, it was over. Because you had guys who could lock it down. And so I think they'll still have that this year with the added bonus of at least 3 or 4. I'd say at least 3 of the guys in the starting rotation going out there hoping to get you to at least the 7th or 8th inning. I think they can do that in Soroka, Fried, and Charlie Morton. We'll see. Ian Anderson, he's basically a rookie. You're
not as high on him as I am.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. I think he will be good. But
predicting
you're talking
a
about
sophomore slump.
No, I'm saying I think you're looking at a guy who's still technically a rookie, right? I mean, so
yeah,
you're going to go out there and ask a guy who has all of
like he's still
very impressive.
He's still getting ranked on prospect rankings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he has a very impressive
but almost threw a no-hitter in the playoffs.
Early young career, but let's look at it for what it is. It's just that. I mean, he doesn't even have, I don't even think he has 10 major league starts yet. So to think he's going to go out there and go 7 innings a start, that's a little unrealistic. But I think he's a guy that could give you 5 solid every time. And maybe as the season goes along, build you up and go a little deeper into games. But yeah, I'm not counting on a guy who is just breaking into the major leagues as my 7-8 inning a night guy. If he can go out there and get a start.
Well, no, I think theoretically you're hoping,
but you can't have 4 of those guys like you had last year that couldn't get you to the 5th inning.
But I mean, you're hoping at the start he's your 4th until you get Soroka back, right? And then when you get Soroka back, he's your 5th. I mean, that's a pretty damn good 5th starter there in Ian Anderson. But that being said, Kevin, the DH gone in the NL. I mean, that was a one-time deal, like a Notre Dame in the ACC.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, just a one-time 2020 thing. But with that, I think the thing a lot of people are overlooking is, we've talked about this last year, Braves had all of these guys on the bench that never really got to play. Like, it was such a big deal when you brought Charlie Culberson back. You didn't get to see him play hardly at all. Yeah. That's going to change this year. With the DH gone, you're going to have a lot more pitching swaps. Like you said, you hope that these guys can get you to the 6th, 7th inning. That isn't always going to be the case. Sometimes Ian Anderson is going to go out there and he's going to give up 6 runs in 4 innings. And you have to pull him. With that being said, the Braves go out and sign Jason Kipnis, a guy who he's 5 years removed from the peak of his career, but is he the guy you see filling that Charlie Culberson utility player role?
Well, if you had a guy that was formerly a starter in Major League Baseball that hadn't reached the peak of his career and now he's going to play the bench for you, I think that'd be a problem. But yeah, I mean, just because you're not starting, I mean, you're not a good player. I think 260 career hitter, play every once in a while. I mean, I told somebody this the other day, he's not playing over Ozzie Albies. I mean, sorry.
Very few second basemen in baseball.
Well, I'm saying he's not. Yeah. I mean, that's and he probably isn't going to play a lot over Austin Riley at third. He's just not. But can he come in once a week and play for one of them? Sure. And I think that's fine. I do think that was one of the things that I'm the old guy in the room when I talk with BJ and Ben about the DH and how bad it like ruins baseball because you have a guy who doesn't play.
I'm with you, and I'm younger than both of them.
And again, there's to me few things more devastating in sports than a pitcher who rakes on you. I mean, it doesn't matter. Hey, we're coming up. Serious. Hey, runners on first and second, man. We got 2 outs. Oh, and the pitcher's come. Oh, and he just raked a double on you. I mean, those things are devastating. And guys who can hit the home runs. Plus, I think it just, it adds a level of thinking about the game where if you're in the American League, here's my 9, go do it. And the only thing I need to worry about is when's my starter done and go get my pitchers ready. I mean, that's pretty much it. And we saw that play itself out in the National League where Charlie Culberson, Mr. Clutch, came up in so many big moments off the bench. Johan Camargo. Those guys weren't playing. I mean, they weren't playing that much. And really, when you saw Tyler Flowers not playing, he wasn't coming in and pinch hitting. He was just not playing. So I think
he did a few like spot DH starts, but very rarely.
Right. I mean, and I think that's one of those things where, to me, when you talk about the numbers and you look at the DH and why everybody gives me grief about, David Ortiz, it's like playing 162 games or 150 games in the field is a big deal. And people who say, no, that's ridiculous. Poppy hit home runs. No, he did. But how many more home runs would a guy like Andrew Jones have hit if he didn't have to play center field every day and play center field the way he did?
If you just let Chipper Jones be a DH.
Right. I think they would have had astronomical numbers there that they put up at the end of their career. So I like not having the DH. Again, I'm an old guy in the room. I realize I'm also,
it adds so much strategy to the game. It does,
because you have to think your way through it.
Mike Greenberg said this on his show. He's all for the DH because he thinks the days of pitchers going 6, 7 innings are gone. And I'm with you. I think you're seeing more and more guys like DeGroms and Scherzers come through that are going 6, 7, 8 innings. And I think the Braves have 3 or 4 of those guys.
Well, I mean, but if you believe that to be the case, then who cares about the DH? Yep. Right? If your pitcher can't go 5 innings, he may only bat 1 time. And now you're pinch hitting, and that brings in more. To me, it just brings in more strategy.
I think his point is you don't have to go to your bench every time you want to swap your pitcher out.
So that's called strategy.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Right?
I think it completely adds to the game. I think you take away from the game when you put a DH in. I mean, you take all the strategy out for being able to see another hitter hit 4 times in a game instead of the pitcher. Whereas you could you could see the pitcher only come up once, and then you have pinch hitters in for him.
Sure.
Which completely changes the strategy. I'm with you.
And again, I think it just adds a little level of thinking your way through the lineup. Is a guy dealing? Do I leave him in? Do I take him out?
That's one of the hardest actual decisions a coach has to make in sports is if your pitcher's dealing and it's a tight game, you're in the 7th inning, his spot's coming up. Do you pull him for a bullpen guy to pinch hit a guy who's there's a 75% chance he's not going to get on base or not do anything?
Right.
I think it's one of the biggest decisions in sports, and it's night in, night out. And you take that away.
Yeah, and I think we saw it last year. If you watch the Braves a lot with the DH in play, there wasn't as many roster moves that had to be made over the course of the season. So, but I'm not dumb enough to think that it's not coming. I mean, it's going to happen. The DH is going to be in the National League when this next CBA comes around.
We will be the bastion, Kevin. We will die on the hill.
I'll die on the hill, but I'm saying I know it's happening. I can't stem the tide of this happening.
Yes, you can. Now with that attitude.
Now with that attitude, not enough. It's not going to make it happen.
Well, there you go. Kevin Thomas, you can hear him coming up on 3 and Out. Look, you were sitting in the chair. You're sitting right next to the microphone. I wasn't going to let you not come on.
That's how we do now. It's like you just shove a microphone in your face, like do it.
Now you guys go to your show meeting. Let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, there's questions galore, and we haven't even started.
No BJ questions. You handle the BJ questions. Let me know if you have any real questions.
All right, sounds good.
I think today's show, I don't know that there's going to be too many philosophical questions from BJ. Actually,
what is a cloud?
No. Let's do a bet.
What is a cloud?
I think I had something. Oh, I have. We're talking about Adam Sandler movies because today is the 25th anniversary of Happy Gilmore being released, and so
he'll probably say I don't watch Adam Sandler.
Well, I put in there, is it the best Adam Sandler movie? So just between you and I and the audience out there, let us know if he hits you with what does best mean.
I sure hope not, but
just let us know, okay? Because I think it's going to happen.
I know I have to save it for the show. But what is your answer to that question?
I don't know. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but
I'm ruining your show.
No, to me,
it's fine.
To me,
is it really? Oh, then don't answer the question. I don't want to ruin.
No. I'll put mine out there because we can still discuss it. To me, Happy Gilmore's way up there, but it might be the Water Boy. The Water Boy. Billy Madison's good, but I don't know.
He has a run of ones that are good, and he has some like I watched one on Netflix last night before I fell asleep called Week Of? Awful movie. I'm saying like it had some funny lines. I had a few out loud laughing spells going on there, but other than that, I'm like, man,
but I mean, like
my wife
can't
normally
reach the pinnacle.
She's not not the best critic of it, but it's like she doesn't care for those kind of movies for the most part, but she'll sit there and watch them. She was hanging in there with me for about 45 minutes, and she was like, I can't take this anymore. I got to leave. I was like, so she went and watched something else, but it was called, Netflix, Week Up, Adam Sandler.
And I know we're going to talk about all of this, but
That's
it's like the best part about Adam Sandler movies for the longest time is obviously he does the thing, which I think is awesome, where he just like basically gave his boys employment for their entire careers.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, I'm going to make a movie, and y'all if you want to be in it, let me know. You're going to be in it. I'm going to take care of you guys.
If we're going to do it, no surprise, Chris Rock is in the one on Netflix.
Right, but I think that's awesome. But think about the cameos in those movies. I mean, you have like Chris Farley, where he's the bus driver in one of his movies, and then he's fighting Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore, like in the hockey jersey pulled over his head, and Bob Barker's beating the hell out of him. I mean, it's the cameos in those movies that make them so beautiful.
Very true. It should be called Adam Sandler and Friends. That's
what Happy Madison Productions is, man.
Yeah, Adam Sandler and my boys making movies.
Kevin, when you blow up, I just take us with you, okay?
Sure. I mean, that's yes.
Oh, that's a yes.
If that's what kicks me over the top, I'll take you guys with me.
Yeah, Cody's gonna clip that audio so we can use it in court if he doesn't quote take us with him.
Sure. Then my legal counsel at that point will be BJ Bennett. What does sure mean? Are we even sure what sure means?
And everyone would be just so upset that they just wanted to leave the.
I would pull my own hair out, but if it got me out of the lawsuit, then whatever. Just start making nonsensical stuff up and like, hey,
you are not you're not the first person in this country to say that in the last few days. So there you go, Kevin Thomas. You can hear him coming up in about 40 minutes on 3 and Out. Always appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. At least I didn't come in kicking and streaming.
Listen, I know it's hard to get a word in edgewise with BJ and Ben.
Yeah.
And you love talking about the Braves. It's cathartic for you. So anytime.
It does the heart good. It's like milk for me. It does the body good to talk baseball.
Not for Cody.
Not for Cody. Yeah, Cody does not. Yeah. Cody makes him want to run away, run out of the studio.
Yeah, that whole lactose intolerant thing. That's a real pain in the butt. Sometimes literally.
Go to break, guys.
Well, GM said go to break. We'll be right back after this. We're going to get to a Terry Fontenot quote I think will stir up the Falcons fans if you haven't seen it already. Really interesting quote about some of the players on the Atlanta Falcons currently and potentially some of the players that could be added. Of course, this is Second Down presented to you by the Uniform Source with 2 different locations in the Savannah area, the perfect place for all your uniform needs. But Cody, before we dive into the Terry Fontenot quote, I wanted to get into a quote from Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Now, I know you wouldn't usually correlate those two people together, but just bear with me. Florida kicks off their spring practice coming up on Thursday. So we are already back in the college football FBS football season, of course, coming up this weekend. You got the SoCon kicking off. So college football season just not ending. Just going to keep going. But the Gators are going to have 15 practices this spring, again, which is something you didn't have last year. It should be huge, especially in a really big turnover for the Florida Gators, losing all the talent that they lost, but a ton of potentially great talent returning. So a big spring practice coming up for the Florida Gators. But their athletic director, Scott Strickland, came out and said, quote, beginning this Thursday, the Gators football team will have 15 practices that will encompass 4 weeks. However, hosting fans for an intra-squad spring football scrimmage seems unwise given all circumstances, including the fact that Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is being used as a large-scale COVID testing and vaccination site. So breaking that down, Florida's not going to have a spring game, is what he's saying. Still going to have spring practices as normal. You're just not going to have the culmination of it with a spring game like most college football teams have, where you invite all the fans in. You get a taste of what the team's going to look like that year before they head off for summer workouts and then fall practices, right? It's a really important date for most college football teams, but I completely agree with everything Scott Strickland says. I mean, you look at the NFL, right? No Pro Bowl this year. There's just no point of flying guys from all over the country to a place to play.
No preseason either.
Right. But I mean, this is after we had figured out the logistics, right? Remember, preseason and all that was still when you were just really getting into baseball season and you were still trying to figure out the logistics of all this. You don't need exhibition games is basically the point, especially flying guys in from all over the place to play these exhibition games. I mean, 32 different NFL franchises. Forget how many states it is, but 32 different NFL franchises. There's no point of it. They played a Madden thing. It was whatever. It's a wash, and you plan for 2021, right? The same thing's happening with Atlanta in terms of the debate around the NBA All-Star Game. NBA is pushing forward with the All-Star Game. They're talking about doing a dunk contest at halftime during the All-Star Game, so you're not having to make it a multi-night thing. And, of course, it's happening in Atlanta. Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta, came out with the quote. She says, under normal circumstances, we would be extremely grateful for the opportunity to host the NBA All-Star Game, but this is not a typical year. I have shared my concerns related to public health and safety with the NBA and Atlanta Hawks. We are in agreement that this is a made-for-TV event only, and people should not travel to Atlanta to party. There will be no NBA-sanctioned events open to the public, and we strongly encourage promoters, clubs, bars, etc., not to host events in the city related to this game. Now, what she's saying there is true. Under normal circumstances, this could be economic boom for a weekend that the city doesn't usually have, right? They obviously rotate around All-Star games. I can't remember. Is the All-Star game for baseball supposed to be in Atlanta this year at Truist Park or sometime coming up? I think it might be this year, but I just don't know if right now is the time for exhibition games, right? I mean, think about the NBA players and what they had to go through, how quick the turnaround time was from them going in the bubble, being away from their families for a long time, getting back going with the 2021 season. And then again, like we said, Cody, bringing guys in from so many different locations. The Spurs just today have an outbreak of 4 players on the team. They're going to have to miss their next 3 games at least while they get that figured out.
It'll be in Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah. Also Charlotte is having to miss their next 2 games while they do contact tracing. I'm with Scott Strickland, man. I just right now, get your practices in as safely as possible. I think spring practice is hugely important, right? Get those in as safely as possible. I just don't know if you really need an exhibition game right now. And if you are going to do it with a spring game, make it made for TV only. I mean, Georgia's spring game is televised every year anyway. Just make it made for TV only. I see no problem with that.
I don't even want it made for TV at all. You're flying people from
I'm talking
other
about
states.
spring practice with the football teams because they're already on campus practicing. All you would do is be televising a practice, basically.
Yeah. You need those practices. You can't go through another year without the practices. Don't have fans there. Don't have everybody else there. Have a limited amount of media. Everybody can watch it from their homes on their laptops. Media can watch it from their homes on a laptop. You saw what they did at the Super Bowl. If you need to do interviews during all that stuff, you could do it through Zoom. You could do it all through that. You don't need all the people over there. And like you were saying with the games, I do not feel like there should be a spring game at all. That would be unsafe. You already got enough contact.
So you don't think they should have a scrimmage at all televised? Because I mean that's all.
I don't think there should be one at all.
I mean, I don't see the problem with if you're going to have 15 practices, having one more practice and having it televised. I just don't think you should allow patrons.
Is the spring game against another team?
No.
Oh no,
it's an inter-squad scrimmage.
Fine. Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just an inter-squad scrimmage. It's not like the NFL. I know you're a big fan of the NFL where they're having preseason games. And a lot of times they'll have the inter-squad practices.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
This is just you have your team versus your team. All the fans come out.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
But I like Scott Strickland said, they're not going to have a spring game, period. They're just going to go through 15 practices. I think Georgia already has a date for G-Day. I don't know what the policy is going to be for patrons. They allowed patrons to games last year, obviously, but Scott Strickland said they're using Ben Hill Griffin Stadium as a vaccination site. And right now, things are trending in a better direction than they have.
Knock on wood.
I mean, the vaccination rate is going up while the positive tests or positive cases are going down, right? And hospitalizations are going down because we had a peak in about mid-January, really right in the middle of winter where it was bad.
Yep.
And now we're about half that in all the major cases. So it's trending in the right direction. But in terms of the All-Star game, I think LeBron James has voiced it to this. Like, again, you just spent all that time in the bubble trying to get a season in. Now you're in the middle of this season. These guys are tired, and you want to play an exhibition game and just call it what it is. It's a money grab.
Oh, 110%?
Yeah, it's a money grab. I mean, it's not going to help Atlanta out economically at all because she said they're in agreement with NBA. It's a made-for-TV event. Not going to have patrons just play the game, put it on TV. I guess that's fine. I don't see the point of it.
There is no point in it. There's zero. I'm not a big all-star game guy anyways. So this definitely makes you don't want to do it. Like, I didn't really like it in the first place. Don't really like the Pro Bowl in the first place. Don't really like those games. If the NFL canceled their Pro Bowl, how come NBA is not doing theirs? And the one thing that you see, NBA is always the one taking the lead.
Yeah.
This one, it really seems like they're behind on it. And they're having their number one player in the league, LeBron James, pretty much voicing saying, hey, man,
number one player, number one voice in terms of that sport.
They just got done with a strenuous season and then had a tiny little break. That's it. Tiny little break. Coming back every little game when it comes to LeBron, all that stuff at his age and all these other aging players, or even just the regular players out there just having that type of a season. One game makes a difference, man. One game makes a difference during this time. Don't have it. You got the number one voice in the NBA telling you not to do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Well, again, I think they've taken in the teeth with losing money in terms of ticket revenue, in terms of television revenue, from missing the games that they missed last season. I think the NBA is going to take any opportunity they can to cash a check, whereas the NFL, they didn't miss any regular season games, didn't miss any playoff games, and played the Super Bowl. So in terms of TV revenue, they're pretty fine. Now, in terms of individual teams and ticket revenue, that's a different story. They're, like you saw, Buffalo even allowed fans in for the first time in the playoffs. So I think the NBA right now, looking to get some money back in their pocket, want the TV revenue from this all-star game, want to be able to sell ads inside of it, sponsorships inside of it, sponsor the that's why they're trying to get the dunk contest at halftime.
Useless. No, useless.
Again, I just don't necessarily see the point of exhibition games right now. This time next year, it might be a completely different story, but I just don't see the point of exhibition games. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see preseason games again in the NFL.
Again, yeah, exactly. Or shorten them to 2, because a lot of people are saying just 2 because you're having an extra game on top of it anyways. There's a lot of talks already saying, hey, if you are going to do preseason games, only do 2 of them, and that's if you do any in the first place.
I mean, college football teams don't get preseason games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what everyone was saying. They're like, oh, how are you guys going to do it going into the season without preseason games? Bill Belichick said he's like, college teams do it every single year.
And how many injuries do you get during the I would like to look that up during the break. How many injuries do happen on the year before 2019, whenever they had a
there's been some pretty significant injuries in preseason. But like I said, if you want one, because I mean, high schools do that. You get a scrimmage in against another team. If you want one, I think that's fine. I've never really understood the point. People are like, well, players make names for themselves in the preseason. If you don't make a name for yourself Monday through Friday during practices, getting ready for the season, I don't think
that's
the coach
such a rarity, man.
I don't think the coaches are like, wow, look, you see that catch that dude made against the third string defense? That's why we're keeping this dude right here. It's just another data point. It's one of Jim Johnson's favorite things to say. It's just another data point that they use in evaluating it. I never thought preseason games were a huge deal, but especially games that you're just playing for the fun of it, which is what an all-star game is. I just don't know that now is the time. And again, Scott Strickland, 80 at Florida, saying Florida will not have a spring game this year, but will have all 15 of their spring practices. We got more to come here on Second Down. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into Second Down right here on ESPN Radio. Christian Gokel, glad to have you alongside. Cody, 25 years ago today, we were talking to Kevin about this a little bit earlier. Happy Gilmore debuted in theaters. Now, I don't know about you. 2002, are you serious?
Yeah,
The Red, 2002?
It was like junior high school. Chevelle the Red, where we just
now we're talking about the rejoiner.
And you said 2011.
Yeah.
I knew it came out when I was in high school / like junior high. So I said 2004.
These years are just starting to meld together, man.
It's just starting to melt together, especially after a year we just had. I felt like that was a 10-year thing. And,
yeah,
it was a long year.
It's still going.
It's still going, baby.
To me, this is it's still 2020 with like December +2 on it right now.
With like a remainder when you do like a division.
When was the last time you did division and you had to have a remainder?
I was doing
helping your kids with homework.
No, not even that. My kids are like way smarter than I am. So now my son's into like the math where I'm like, oh man, I'm old. Like, oh, I don't remember.
You're like,
this.
Hey, here's the thing. Answers in the back of the book. Let me know if you need anything else. But no, we're talking about Happy Gilmore. Came out 25 years ago today. And just to me, some of the best comedy movies, obviously from the 90s, but what Adam Sandler's done since then, I'm a big fan of the newer Longest Yard. I don't know if it's as good as the original one, but I still think it's one of those movies that comes on TV, sit down, you'll sit through some of the commercials to watch it. I really like the new Longest Yard. But to you, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
I would say Billy Madison, but then redawned on me probably one of my favorite movies of all time, Big Daddy. Big Daddy is such a precious movie. It's a funny movie. It gets you in the heart right here, man. It's a great movie. Another one to think of, 50 First Dates is a great one.
That's an underrated one. That's a pretty dang funny movie.
Very, very underrated movie. I'm not too fond of his like newer movies. I do like Grown Ups. He has a new one that just came out last year during Halloween, was Hubie Halloween. That was good for the kids, not gonna lie.
He makes movies that you don't like them when they first come out, but then you watch them 5 years later and you're like, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but there's a few of them that are just stinkers lately. But
dude, they can't all be bangers.
Exactly. He has a few of them that come out. Like I said, Hubie Halloween. Go ahead and watch it. It's good for your kids and everything. It's real fun. Has some of the adult humor that they wouldn't know. You know how Adam Sandler does that. You know, it's not too much of adult humor as you would think. So it's very faint. So it's a good one. But mine's got to be Big Daddy, dude. Big Daddy all the way. Frankenstein.
Yeah, Mario, a friend of the show, just tweeted in, and he agrees with me. It's the Waterboy, man.
The Waterboy's great. Heck yeah, dude. I love the Waterboy.
I mean, I love Billy Madison. Billy Madison is a phenomenal movie. The thing I've always loved about, especially the early Adam Sandler movies, are the pacing in the movie, right? It never lags. You're never like watching it and you're like, all right, we can get past this part and get to another funny part. They got great pacing.
Can't do it. Yeah.
In all the movies. But I mean, just an iconic character, right? And Bobby Boucher. You got the Mud Dogs. I mean, you created a fake school that like people literally have those uniforms.
Oh, they got memorabilia. Yeah.
From the Mud Dogs. I mean, the Bourbon Bowl, which is just, if you were thinking about a bowl game in Louisiana,
frog leg muffins.
Right. It's just, it's perfect. He's like, thanks. And like,
yeah. with this like goofy eye.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean,
so good.
But all of those guys are like in the movie. I mean, the quarterback, right? They're all just in all of his movies.
Oh yeah, they're the boys. They're the original squad, dude.
Is the quarterback in The Waterboy the caddy in Happy Gilmore?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I have that correct.
And I think you're right. And I think he's also in.
Well, he's in everything. Like you could say everything. He's in Little Nicky.
He's the reporter in what's the one where he's like a pizza? Oh, Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds. Oh
yeah, Mr. Deeds.
It's another one.
Too. Another banger, dude. He has literally a water fountain that has fruit punch in it.
Well, I mean, what else would you do if you were a billionaire?
No, 110%. David Dobrik just did that. He just stole the idea from him, dude. That's what people grow up when they get rich. That's what they want. They want a fruit punch.
I always wanted a
water fountain.
I always wanted a roller coaster.
Yeah. That's
like Richie Rich
stuff. Yeah. Yep. Richie Rich was
also wanted to dive off a diving board into gold coins, which thinking about it looks cool in cartoons. In real life, probably
you're like hitting cement. Yeah, dude, that's not good.
But it always looks so cool. And then like
it was.
You spit them out of your mouth. all the coins.
But dude, mine's Big Daddy.
But I mean,
love it.
he's done some other movies too that I think kind of have gone under the radar, but are like really good. Like Rain or Me is a movie he did. I think his wife passed away in September 11th in the movie.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Spanglish, I thought is an excellent movie. So again, 25 years ago today, Happy Gilmore hit theaters, which I mean, that one, if you want to say that's the best Adam Sandler movie, I'm not going to argue with you. You're fighting Bob Barker at a Pro-Am. You got Shooter McGavin.
Oh my! They had like the best names.
But I mean, like, but the thing too is like you get guys like Vern Lundquist out there calling the actual game. I mean, even in the Waterboy, he had Brent Musburger calling the Bourbon Bowl, right? It's like last game of the year, Brent can't hold anything back. But I mean, Vern Lundquist calling Happy Gilmore shots is phenomenal. So
Little Nicky, dude. Come on,
you don't like Little Nicky.
I know, but that's an iconic one. I don't like it. Yeah. The Wedding Singer.
Wait, the Wedding Singer. Yeah,
the Wedding Singer.
How can you sit there and go, oh, Little Nicky, dude, come on? And
no,
go,
people
I don't
love
like
Little Nicky. See, I'm talking about the iconic ones that everybody else likes. So, Zohan, don't like Zohan, but people are in love with Zohan.
No, not a big fan of that.
And actually, there's a newer movie. Have you seen A Ridiculous Six?
Yeah, that was
on
terrible.
Netflix.
That was
I didn't think that was that bad.
That was bad.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Like, Taylor Lautner finally tried to make a comeback into acting, and that was tough.
Not bad. Oh, I pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
It's pretty good.
Another one.
Love is a Circle.
Oh, dudes. Dude, 8 Crazy Nights. One of my a
great
Hanukkah
animated movie.
Great Hanukkah movie, dude. So
that's a
funny.
technical foul. Might be the best.
Yeah.
Might be the best original song ever.
Anger Management.
Dude, are we just gonna list
nothing
Adam
but
Sandler?
Bangers though?
But
dude.
are we just gonna list Adam Sandler's IMDb?
But there's a lot of that weren't bangers. Is all I'm saying.
You just said nothing but bangers, and then you said there's a lot.
Well,
that
I lied,
bangers.
dude. Don't trust me. So
I don't.
I wouldn't. So I'm going with Big Daddy though.
Kind of flamed out on me.
And well, it all depends what your generation is too, because he's been doing it for so long. Like my kids would say Hotel Transylvania. You know what I mean? Like that type of, or Hubie Halloween. You know, they don't. I can't really let them watch.
How old is your
Billy
boy?
Madison?
How old is your boy?
My son's 12.
Sit him down and let him watch Happy Gilmore.
Dude, I don't know. What is that rated?
PG-13. It's got to be.
No way.
It's got to be.
No way.
Sit your boy down and let him watch Happy Gilmore. I know good and dang well you and I both watched Happy Gilmore before we were 12.
Yeah, then I grew up to be a degenerate. Look at me, dude. I'm over here lying to you all the time.
Don't you be like me. Don't be like
PG-13. My man is right. Okay.
I think there might be like one F-bomb in it, but
we're gonna see, the language doesn't really
but what
unless it's like completely bad.
What does PG-13 mean? It means parental guidance.
Cody Queen right here.
13. Right? I mean, Colton's 12, but you still get some parental guidance.
12 and a half, big dog.
He's good to go. He's good to go. Let the boy watch Happy Gilmore today on anniversary.
Well, okay. So it is the anniversary.
Yeah,
of
February
Happy
16th,
Gilmore.
25 years ago, it was released. That's why we're talking about it.
Okay.
It's the premise of this entire conversation.
What'd you think about I did not like Uncut Gems. People loved Uncut Gems.
That is the most stressful movie I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't like it.
I told Cody this actually. The most stressful video I've seen since Uncut Gems is Tom Brady throwing the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
From one boat to another. But like that was that, but for 2 hours.
Oh no, not me.
It was such a stressful movie.
I don't really have any like stressful movies that I've had like that besides The Room. If you've not seen The Room, it's terrifying. Yes, that's my most. That's
or was it 127 days?
What?
Where James Franco's the
I've not
hiker,
seen that.
the hiker
I
stuck.
have not seen that. Yeah, but I didn't think Uncut Gems. Dan Lebitard even talked about it. He was like, "Man, the whole time I was just so stressed out about it. I never."
It's not a movie I'm going to watch again.
No, I'll never watch that movie again. I thought it was a horrible movie. I think it was
horrible. I mean, I got it, but I mean, sheesh.
1999, Big Daddy, best Adam Sandler movie there
took years off of my life. We'll come back. Final segment of Second Down next. Cody, Terry Fontenot stirring the pot for Atlanta Falcons fans. He recently joined the Huddle and Flow podcast on NFL Network with Jim Trotter and Steve Weish. And a lot of the responses he gave were very, very, very deep coach speak, right? It's like Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, they're great players. Anybody be lucky to have them. We're lucky to have them. Well, are you going to draft somebody else? Well, we're looking at all positions. There's going to be competitions at every single position. But the one quote I think got a lot of Falcons fans riled up was, quote, and this is, again, Terry Fontenot, new Falcons GM, you always bring in quarterbacks. You need to bring in quarterbacks, whether it's in the draft, whether it's in free agency, or signing guys off the street. It's so important. Bring in quarterbacks a lot. Build strengths. To me, and again, this might be smoke from Terry Fontenot. To me, that sounds a whole lot like that fourth overall pick might be a quarterback.
Don't do this.
Please. You need to bring in quarterbacks,
Please,
whether it's in the draft, whether it's in free agency, or signing guys off the street. It's so important. Bring in quarterbacks a lot. Build strength.
Don't do this. Why? Don't do this. Please. Please.
Well, but my question is this. Let's say, and we're talking to BJ about this, let's say if the draft goes like you think it's going to go, where it's Trevor Lawrence 1, and that's happening. Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields 2,
that's who I got,
to the New York Jets, because as much as we want to flip and flop with Zach Wilson, I think the Jets have him second on their quarterback board. And then number 3, if it's the Dolphins, they trade out, they take best available, whatever they want to do. Let's say they just take best available.
Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith to me.
One of them, or Penei Sewell, the offensive line.
Or that, yeah, they can't go wrong.
But say they take Devonta Smith, right? Say they take a wide receiver. Say they don't take Penei Sewell. Do you want the third best quarterback, which would be either Zach Wilson or Trey Lance, or do you want the best offensive lineman in the draft by a mile?
No, a lot of people are saying the next Quentin Nelson. He's going to be the anchor.
Different positions, but yeah,
he's going to be that dude for that long. God, take him. You got to take him to even have the future quarterback that you're going to have, that he's going to be protected for.
Or then do you leverage that pick and say, hey, Bengals, I know you guys want to protect Joe Burrow. You're right behind us. We might be about to trade this pick to somebody else who wants Penei Sewell. Can we grab a couple picks?
My dog's spitting fire, baby.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden you can move back one spot in the first round, probably still get a quarterback if you really want him, and grab a second or third
round pick, baby. Oh my gosh. Look at you, Christian.
I mean, it's what you got to do. And again, Terry Fontenot, young dude, 40-year-old guy. We have no idea what his draft history looks like, right? Because he's a director. He was the director of pro scouting for the New Orleans Saints. So his job was making sure he knew everything about every player in the NFL. Not saying he's not a college guy as well, but we just don't know what a draft history looks like for Terry Fontenot. But I mean, right now, that's starting to seem like the move. Again, if it goes like we expect, and what a lot of people are saying is you could see the Carolina Panthers make a move with the Miami Dolphins to jump up there, grab that third pick, and grab their quarterback. So are you taking the fourth best quarterback if you're the Falcons there? Or are you drafting the best offensive lineman in the draft? Or are you trading back and stacking picks? It's going to be wild. Going to be a lot more mock drafts coming out, and we'll dive in to all of them. Trust us. Christian Go, Cody Queen, we'll talk to you tomorrow.